What's up guys, my name is Darren, welcome back to yet another video, and I can't tell you how many times and in how many videos I've sat here and told you guys that I am a long-term believer in Metamaterials. Well, I feel like Metamaterials is a long-term hold company. Even though I'm really hopeful and optimistic about the future of this company, I'm a long-term investor of Metamaterials. And I definitely, genuinely believe in the products that they have and how it can change the world in the future. But to be honest guys, the past few weeks has been kind of ridiculous when it comes to this company. So first off, the price of the company's stock has been going down for the past couple of weeks, almost the past couple of months. Then in the midst of all that, around December 3rd, they had their shareholders meeting, which was going to surround the dividend that should be coming up within the next couple of weeks, which was really exciting. So I didn't get a chance to actually listen to it live, but I did read their article on their website. And what I thought would be exciting ended up being a lot of information that wasn't new, except for the fact that they extended the due date of how they're handling their assets into the beginning of next year. I wasn't really satisfied about that, and a lot of people, to say the least, were definitely unhappy. So after reading the article, I did a lot of reading on websites like StockTwits on the Metamaterials page, Twitter, other YouTubers, comments on their YouTube videos, and other websites like that. And from all that information, I came up with these 3 different reasons, these common reasons why people are so concerned and confused and unhappy with the position that this company is at. The first reason has to do with the confusion on this dividend price. So the one thing that we confidently know is that Torchlight, the company that merged with Metamaterial, has to sell their assets by the end of this year, all their oil and gas assets, which will include the land that they have, the oil that's in that land, the equipment that they use, so on and so forth. And they have to have done that by the end of the year. And once they do that, then everybody that had invested into the Torchlight company by the record date, which I believe was June 23rd or June 24th, would receive a preferred stock dividend for every share that they invested into, which would be the equivalent to that percentage of whatever the asset was. So you take the total asset divided by the outstanding shares, and there you go. That's how much each person gets. But concern number 1 with that, which was always a concern, is the fact that no one knows how much it is. And no one knows how much it is because apparently there hasn't been an offer, at least as far as we know, for us to be able to take that amount and say, okay, this is the minimum that has been offered, and this is what that share price would be. So because of that, we're left with assumptions. And a lot of these assumptions are also fueled by things that Metamaterials has said, including George Palikaris, who made a recent tweet that I actually talked about in a previous video a while back, that this dividend could be between $1 and $20. And that's a big range, but a lot of people obviously optimistically chose $20. And the longer it's been, it seems like the less optimistic people are about that. So pessimistic, as a matter of fact, that people are starting to believe that the dividend price could be less than $1, which I'm not sure how much evidence there is about that, but that's how people are feeling. Speaking of dividend, the second reason that I feel like people are getting really concerned about what's going on with this company is the confusion on MMTLP. So I made a video about this a few months ago, which was a couple of days after this all happened. And just like a lot of you guys, I went on my phone, checked on all of my stocks, checked Metamaterials, and noticed this MMTLP that took the place of the preferred stock dividend for Metamaterial. Just like a lot of you guys, I originally thought that maybe Torchlight actually sold their assets. And then I noticed the price went up. So I was confused and I read a lot of articles, and a lot of you guys believed that the price was going up because Metamaterial was selling multiple assets, which makes sense because I figured it's possible that Torchlight would sell assets in different pieces, like this equipment and this equipment, this piece of land, that piece of land, things like that. Then it got more confusing when the price started to go down. And that's when I realized that this was available on over-the-counter brokerage apps such as TD Ameritrade and Fidelity, and it was giving investors the opportunity to actually buy and sell these preferred stocks. And the most confusing thing about it, at least from my personal opinion, and I think something that a lot of people were concerned about, is that it raised the question on who actually qualifies for this dividend. Because a couple of months ago, we were all under the impression that anybody that invested into Torchlight, yet again, by the record date, will qualify for this dividend. Now they're telling us that somehow this becomes an over-the-counter stock that people can buy and sell. And then the other question that comes up is this the actual dividend, or are these just the rights to the dividend? And how much will we get? More questions being asked, more questions being unanswered, more confusion. Now, if you've been keeping up with this company before the merger happened between them and Torchlight, then you would also be aware that the other option that the company would have, rather than giving us a cash dividend, is a spinoff. And that's where I believe the third issue is, because we're concerned only if we're getting cash or if we're getting a spinoff of another company. First off, there are a lot of people that really want the cash because it's immediate, and there's a lot of people that are very upset about the losses they've had. There's a lot of people that have invested at the top, and they at least want the dividend to make up for that cost. But then again, you have people that assume the price won't be that high, so how much making up would that really do? Also, there's a lot of people that believe that if the company does a spinoff with a company like Oilco, which by the way, I think that's just a holding company for the time being, but regardless, they feel like the price would go down even more without even being aware of what the company is that would be doing the spinning off. And on a side note, guys, I am aware that the article they posted about the shareholders meeting has the phrase spin out on it a lot, and there's a lot of people arguing about the difference between spin off and spin out. Let's just get one thing out the way. If you check websites like Investopedia, it clearly tells you that under the definition of spin off, that another word that can be used is spin out. So it's clear to say that spin off and spin out are the same thing. Now, the one thing that you could say that's the difference between the two is that a spin-off takes shares and converts those shares into a completely new corporation. It funds that corporation with that money. And a spin out takes a part of a company and converts it into its whole new company. For example, we all know Tesla, we all know Starlink. They're both owned by the same person, but let's assume that they started off as the same company called Tesla. They did automobiles and they did space exploration. And Elon Musk believed that the space exploration sector would do a lot better by itself. So he pulls it out and creates a whole new company called Starlink. That would be a spin out. But point is, in this situation, they're both the same thing. A lot of people are obviously upset about this potential spin off or spin out, that they're threatening to sell all their shares or even short the company. And honestly, I get it. I understand. Again, I have my opinions as far as being a long-term investor. This doesn't really change how I feel about the company in the future, but I can understand how seeing the profits over periods of time between now and the next day and the next day, and seeing them go down for unexpectedly no reason, is a little frustrating. And that's kind of the whole theme with this company over the past couple of months. They have products that I genuinely believe in. They have products that a lot of other people genuinely believe in, but the price is going down. And a lot of us, if not all of us, would agree that the price is going down not because of the products that they have, but because of potentially things such as public relations and even their CEO, George Palacaris, and some of the things that he said, whether they were taken the right way or not, and just everyone's overall impatience. And I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of times where I'm a little impatient as well, because I sit here and say that I am a long-term investor in this company, which is true, but also getting an immediate dividend to be able to take that cash and do what I want with it is something great as well. So overall, I do think that it's possible that the PR does a better job at clearing things up, or at least being able to answer some questions that a lot of people have. For example, I think the biggest question is, where did this MMTLP stock come from? What does it mean for the people that invested into Torchlight before the record date in order to qualify for this preferred stock dividend? How is this created? Why is it only available to the OTC? What does it mean if you buy more or sell it? What does that even mean? I think questions like that should be answered, and I think those would help the stock price. But at the same time, I also understand that even though I've never owned a major business before, I would assume there's some legality as far as what you can and what you can't say. So maybe they're being too quiet for the right reasons, and it's just annoying us either way. But at the end of the day, I do think, just based off the products, Metamaterial is an amazing company, especially for the world that we're growing in with this whole metaverse thing becoming very popular. But I do think we're getting through a lot of bumps in the road that are getting really annoying, and hopefully these things calm down a little bit. Otherwise, people are going to start believing once again that this company may be potentially a scam, which doesn't make sense to me. But it is something that we've talked about in this video, so make sure you guys check that out. I appreciate you guys watching, and until next time, take care.